Thank you. The president's economic policies may be a powerful influence on a vote underway in upstate New York right now. It's a special election to fill the House seat left open when a Democratic congresswoman replaced Hillary Clinton in the United States Senate. Mary Snow is standing by in Hudson, New York. Mary, this is one of those special elections that could tell us potentially a lot about the mood of the country early on in this new administration.
It could, Wolf. And for Democrats, the question is, are the president's policies resonating with the public? And for Republicans, they hope to turn the tide. These voters may be casting ballots for candidates largely unknown outside this mostly rural district of upstate New York. But the race is seen as an early test of President Obama's efforts to jumpstart the economy. The contest, pitting Democrat and venture capitalist Scott Murphy against longtime Republican state lawmaker Jim Tedisco, has gotten widespread attention. And so have the voters here who say they've been bombarded.
Oh, the vice president called in last night. I thought that was nice of him. And we had a call on the answering machine from Pat Boone supporting Jim Tedisco.
Yes, that's Pat Boone of 1950s pop song fame getting involved. Republican National Committee Chairman Michael Steele targeted this race as a priority for the GOP this year. GOP candidate Tedisco made the president's economic stimulus bill his big issue, blasting it as wasteful.
Are we going to send a leader to Washington, or are we going to send another rubber stamp for Nancy Pelosi?
Democratic candidate Murphy has chided his opponent for delaying for weeks, commenting on whether or not he supports the stimulus package. Murphy says the bill is needed to create jobs. President Obama has endorsed him and has emailed Democrats in the district to do the same.
The message that President Obama talked about last fall, there's still a lot of resonance there.
Despite all the national attention, some in the town of Hudson say they are tired of the politics.
We've lost factories. You know, people are running around with empty pockets, and it's getting very, very rough.
And Wolf, when you talk to people here in Hudson, they say they really don't know that their vote is so much a gauge on national politics, but like so many other places around the country, their big concern, of course, lost jobs. And here in Hudson, 2 factories within the past couple of months have closed down, and that has caused hundreds of jobs. Wolf?
All right, Mary Snow, stand by. We're going to get back to you. Once we know some results up there, let's check in with our chief national correspondent, John King, the host of CNN's State of the Union. John, you got the magic map. We got an election that's underway right now, and you can take us inside, give us a little perspective, because some are suggesting this could be an indication of President Obama and the Democratic majority's hold on Congress, what the country thinks.
As Mary noted, Wolf, both national parties investing heavily, so a lot of pride at stake tonight. I'll make this quick point before we go up into New York. If you're watching to see what races this year will make the biggest difference, I would watch the governor's race in New Jersey and the governor's race in Virginia. Those are in November, 2 big statewide contests. They'll tell you a lot more about the state of the mind of the country.
We have to wait till November for those.
We have to wait for November. So for now, we have this race, and it's a nice race. Let me switch over to House races here. This is the district at play right here. It's the 20th district. It starts in the northern New York suburbs, runs up past Albany, and almost up to the Canadian border. You see the line up here. Kirsten Gillibrand, now a senator, carried it quite handily in 2008, 62% of the vote. But this is a very interesting place. I'm going to outline the district on the map here, and I'll tell you why I'm doing this in just a minute. But we'll outline the district in the map, and we'll come out of the telestrator. We're going to come back down here, and what we want to do is come back to our presidential contest and now bring this district over. This is the presidential race in this district. Barack Obama carried the district by about 3 points. But let's go back in time, Wolf. So you would say maybe that favors the Democrats, but look at all the red up in here. Obama carried this territory this time. This is George W. Bush in 2004. President Bush carried the district in 2004. In fact, President Bush carried the district as well in 2000. What does that tell you? Let's look at the numbers. President Obama gets 51% in 2008. In 04, it was George W. Bush with 54%. And in the 2000 campaign, George W. Bush with 51%, the same 51% here. What does that tell you? It is a very competitive district. Either party could win the race tonight. Whoever does win will claim this big national momentum. If the margin is more than 5 or 6 points, the party probably has bragging rights. If it's a pretty close race, it's reflective of a pretty close district.
Because when Gillibrand was elected, she beat a longtime Republican who had held that seat for many, many years.
That's right. She beat a Republican incumbent who had some problems. He was getting some very bad headlines, very bad newspaper stories, tabloid-type newspaper stories. So that was a big win for the Democrats in the state of New York. But especially Republicans, Wolf, you know very well, if we come outside of the map and come down a little bit, Republicans, especially in the Northeast, this used to be Republican territory. The suburban, rural areas of New York, New Jersey, up into New England, you used to be able to find those moderate Republicans. You know them well. Mr. Sweeney represented that district. Jack Kemp represented the Buffalo area where you're from. Those Republicans are almost an extinct breed up here. So Republicans are hoping they can win this race and say, look, we're on the comeback trail. But again, unless the margin is very big, I would remember these numbers. It's a very competitive district. So if somebody wins by 2 or 3 points, they ran a good race. It doesn't necessarily mean anything nationally.
I remember when Gillibrand was running in that district, she was bragging about her guns and all of that. And that's I'm from upstate New York, so I'm very familiar with that part of the country, although it is, as you point out, changing a lot since when I was growing up as a kid.
But not liberal. The gun point is the key point to make.
The gun's an important issue for a lot of folks.
That's right.
Thanks very much, John.